How'd you feel, AJ?
It could have been better, but we got there in the end. Watch out.
Oh, thank you.
Could have been better, but we got there in the end.
Curious, man. How does Power feel in there?
It was alright.
Yeah. Did you? Were you surprised he lasted as long as he did?
Huh?
Were you surprised he lasted as long as he did?
Kinda.
No.
What did you think?
Good fight.
Yeah.
Good fight. Listen, respect to Jake. You know, he was a tough guy in there. Obviously, he moved a lot and made it difficult for AJ. And AJ's been out of the ring for a while. He's a bit rusty. It took him time to just get hold of him, but I was impressed with Jake. And listen, as I said to Nikisa, at the end of the day, he took shots that a lot of people would have got knocked out, clean out by, especially at the end, you know. So, yeah.
Was it frustrating for you to watch?
No, I mean, maybe, like, obviously, when someone's moving like that, like, it's going to take you a while to get hold of them, and when they're rugby tackling you, but he had to do what he had to do to survive.
The Jake Paul versus Anthony Joshua fight felt like a moment where real boxing met modern hype. It wasn't calm or subtle, it happened right in the ring with no place to hide. From the opening bell, the tension wasn't just about punches being thrown. It felt like a clash between two different eras of boxing.
I'm so proud of him. That was incredible. In my view, that was a victory on all fronts.
Right.
Like, minus the actual victory, obviously, of course, but bro, like, no one expected him to last 6 rounds with AJ. In my opinion, he won 4 of them. People will argue that. He at least won 3. No one expected him to last that long. Rolled his ankle, broke his jaw, still fighting, man. Like, that's toughness.
Time, and you got to realize, you know, Jake Paul had his hands down.
Yeah.
He was basically waiting for that knockout.
Absolutely. And where is the Tyson Fury Joshua fighting happening now?
Yeah, it should happen. I think it should happen.
Who wins it? Who wins it? Lennox? Who wins it?
Oh, don't ask me too soon. It's too soon for that, man.
Excuse me, Lennox. I'm sorry.
I miss you, Lennox.
Hey, what's going on,
up,
buddy?
Man? Good to see you.
Yeah, man.
Just let me know your thoughts on Jake going 6 rounds with AJ.
You know, the fact that he did that, it was good because, you know, we didn't think it was going to go 6 rounds. We thought it was going to go 2. So the fact that he made 6 rounds is an accomplishment for Jake Paul.
Both fighters brought their identity and pride into the ring. Jake moved with his usual confidence, relaxed and focused, looking like he truly believed the fight was going his way. Joshua, on the other hand, carried himself like someone who has faced pressure many times before. He stayed calm and serious, fully aware of how intense and quiet big moments can feel in a fight like this.
West, you got the finish that you desired, but can you kind of talk about the frustration of dealing with Jake's movement? Is that what you expected out of him in this fight? And were the things that you think about that was like, I could have done something a little bit better than this night earlier?
Jake would have either come full steam ahead 100 miles an hour, or Jake would have moved around the ring at 100 miles an hour. There's 2 things I would have done. Tried to shut Jake down at 100 miles an hour, or I would have gone on the back foot. So Jake decided to move around the ring, and I decided to put the pressure on.
Were you impressed the fact that Jake lasted so long, or I don't know, what's your take on it?
Not really. I expected that, you know.
You expected him to last?
I mean, I expected Jake to fight the way he fought.
Right.
You know, trying to stay away. You don't know if how long that's gonna last. You know, Joshua has something to say about that. So you don't know, but I'm not shocked, I'm not surprised.
I tried when I could. It was a bit messy, but from a systematical breakdown, the right hand landed, it found its home, and the referee waved it off after. Did he get counted out, or did the ref wave it off?
I believe he got counted out.
So the right hand found its home.
Yeah.
I would have loved to have landed some more body shots, but it weren't for tonight, maybe in the future, but we got the job done in the end anyway.
Every moment in the ring felt important. The punches weren't wild or careless, but full of purpose. It felt like both fighters knew that every move, every feint, and every breath was being watched closely by 2 very different groups of fans, each expecting something different. The crowd shifted between excitement and shock, reacting to scenes that felt less like a normal fight and more like a defining moment for boxing itself.
To follow up on Jake, he said he broke his jaw in the aftermath. Has he gone to hospital? What's the health update on Jake?
Yeah, we think he broke his jaw. He's fine. We met with Netflix afterwards. He took a shower, he drove himself to the hospital. A broken jaw is very common in sports, particularly in boxing or MMA, and I think the recovery time from the doctors and surgeons we've already talked to is 4 to 6 weeks.
Fighting's not just physical, it's psychological. And when you understand the psychological warfare, I did say to you that, Jake, what's gonna happen? I'm gonna see a time when I'm gonna take your soul and you're either gonna give up or you're gonna get knocked out. And unless you have that instinct, you just will never be a good fighter. So I wish that I could have knocked him out at the start. But as we saw tonight, Jake has spirit. He has some heart. He tried his best.
You could see Joshua staying calm and patient, carefully judging distance and waiting for the right moment, while Jake relied on confidence and timing, trying to show that belief and hard work could change expectations. It wasn't wild or messy. It was intense but controlled, with ambition clashing against experience. The balance kept shifting, never fully settling, which made the fight so gripping. No one knew which approach would succeed when the pressure was highest, the ring felt smallest, and there was no room for mistakes.
I knew we were going to beat him, but I didn't expect it to go as many rounds as it did. And I think Jake deserves a huge amount of credit because I know he ran and held, but he did throw shots at times. But where I think he deserves credit is he took some punishment. And that shot was a similar right hand that flattened Ngannou and put him to sleep. And I know it shattered Jake Paul's jaw and broke his jaw, but he was, I mean, it wasn't okay, but he was on, he was awake. So I've got to give him credit. I think he's a crazy
Y'all ain't giving him enough credit.
Did you see it ending like the way it was going?
Man, Jake Paul landed some punches, bro. Some crazy punches, man. Good. It's not his weight class.
Right. I was gonna say he landed that right hand flush and it didn't seem to do anything.
Not his weight class.
Right. So what's next? Is it keep fighting? Do you think you did well enough to keep fighting?
I want to see Jake Paul in there again.
You want to see him again?
I want to see him. And I'm trying to think of with who, but you guys don't give Jake Paul enough credit.
It wasn't just a fight. It felt like a question being answered round by round. Does boxing only honor past greatness? Or can something new force its way in early? What made it more intense was the body language between rounds. Both corners were calm but focused, dealing with very different problems while the clock kept ticking. As the fight went on, the tension grew, and you could feel the pressure building inside the arena.
People wouldn't have the balls ever to step in a boxing ring in their life. He stepped in a boxing ring with one of the baddest men on the planet, who's 40 pounds heavier than him and 6 inches taller. That's insane. He's one of the most skilled fighters on the planet. My brother, as a YouTuber, went 6 rounds with him in a fight with a broken jaw and rolled ankle. I'm so proud of him. That was just unbelievable.
Not because anyone panicked, but because both fighters knew that one small change could shift the entire fight. The ring felt like a pressure cooker, removing all the hype and storylines. In the end, only skill, composure, and mental strength mattered, and it came down to who could stay calm when everything was on the line.
Take my hat off to him because, number one, a lot of fighters haven't got in the ring with me and Jake did. And secondly, even when he got knocked down, he kept on trying to get up, and I take my hat off to him. So America, I think you have someone who could potentially, if he still has the heart for it, come back again, dust the dirt off his shoulder, and come again and maybe sell out this center sometime in 2026. Maybe against a Gervonta Davis, a Ryan Garcia, who knows?
Eddie Hearn spoke after the fight and described it as two very different worlds coming together in one ring and surprisingly working. He said the fight played out how heavyweight boxing usually does, with pressure, preparation, and ambition shaping every moment. There were calm phases, tense moments, and times where every decision felt important. Eddie explained that Joshua stayed calm and disciplined, took his time, controlled the space, and handled every exchange with respect rather than arrogance.
It's fine. He came over to me off camera, are you okay? Of course, gutted, but more than fine. It was just fucking breathtaking, the whole thing. I mean, if you want drama, you fucking got drama. I mean, not really in the way that we wanted, to be honest with you, but I'm so proud of AJ because he couldn't have had a worse start. You know, first round, just went back in a straight line with his chin in the air, got hit by a monster right hand. Second round, took a shellacking, was out of the fight. The fight was over. You know, I actually felt at the end of the second round, I actually thought the fight was over at the end of the second round. And the third round, just holding on for dear life.
At the same time, he praised Jake for how he handled himself, saying it takes real courage to stay focused, disciplined, and confident when facing an experienced heavyweight on such a big stage. Hearn described the fight as physical but not reckless, intense but controlled, and much more serious than it looked from the headlines. He added that once the bell rang, the stories and hype no longer mattered, only what each fighter could do in the ring, and both men had to face that reality head-on.
It'll be one of the greatest comeback victories of all time, but unfortunately walked onto a monster right hand. No, I'm right.
Tom, can I sneak one?
And just really proud of him, because I said to him, you couldn't have done any more. When it's all over, you can look yourself in the mirror and say, I tried my absolute nuts off in there tonight. And he gave it.
Eddie also pointed out how the atmosphere in the arena changed with each round, as the fight became more about focus and less about showmanship. He said fights like this push boxing to move forward without losing what makes it real, because once you're in the ring, the truth always comes out. Eddie summed it up by saying, nights like this remind people why boxing is still exciting and unpredictable, as it tests new ideas while staying rooted in the basics that never change.
He felt that he was coming back into the fight, and you know, I spoke to him at length last night, and he was really prepared to go to the trenches. He said to me, I'm really prepared to do whatever it takes. And he never stopped trying. You know, it was hard to watch at times in round 2 and 3, it was. But he never stopped holding on, never stopped swinging, and I think we should be proud of him for that.
Flowing from Eddie Hearn's detailed breakdown, Tyson Fury shared his post-fight thoughts in his usual half-grin, half-growl style, looking like a man who's seen it all and isn't easily impressed. Fury said the fight had real intensity, not because of hype, but because both fighters genuinely came prepared, ready to face pressure, instead of hiding behind distractions. He highlighted how the pace stayed serious, with no easy moments, just continuous thinking, adjusting, and testing each other's nerve.
Absolutely fantastic. It was a fantastic knockout, and I almost got it right. I predicted 1 round, and he got it in 2, so it was right. But listen, you get a bit cocky like he did, and it was what it was. It was what it was. He got knocked out, and that's what a boxer should do to an MMA fighter. So credit to AJ. He did a fantastic job.
Fury noted that heavyweight boxing naturally slows the action, making every move feel more deliberate, and both fighters had to handle that pressure in real time. He praised Joshua's composure, saying that staying calm under fire comes only from years of tough rounds, while also recognizing Jake's courage to stay engaged and not fold when resilience was required. Fury chuckled at how many people underestimate just what it takes to survive in that kind of intense atmosphere.
In the heavyweight division, it's what happens. 1 punch away from being smashed, knocked out.
What went wrong, you feel, with the game plan that Joshua had in that first round?
I think what went wrong is what always goes wrong in heavyweight boxing. Good right hand on the end of the chin. And that was it.
Can you come back from this, Tyson?
I don't know. Listen, it's up to the man and whatever he wants to do. If he's got a good ambition to come back again.
Fury explained that the ring doesn't care about confidence unless it's backed by real toughness. He said the fight wasn't about showmanship, it was about endurance, control, and staying mentally focused when fatigue and pressure start creeping in. Only heavyweight boxing can test a fighter like that. Nights like this remind athletes why preparation matters more than words, because the ring always reveals the truth. In true Fury style, he finished by saying, heavyweight boxing stays dangerous because it exposes exactly who you are when there's nowhere left to hide.
God's honest truth. It is what it is. And listen, you get caught with them punches, and you don't see many heavyweights get hit, get knocked down, get back up to you and continue on.
As Fury wrapped up with his classic take on truth and pressure, the focus shifted when Roy Jones Jr. shared his post-fight analysis. From a technician's perspective, Roy explained that the fight was more about control and adjustment than chaos or big flashy moments. He highlighted how both fighters stayed disciplined, constantly reading each other and making small changes rather than forcing errors. Roy noted the patience on display, pointing out that at heavyweight, rushing often leads to mistakes. And in this bout, thinking mattered just as much as punching.
And what did you make of Jake Paul beating a former world champion?
Again, I'm the guy who watches highlights. I saw some of the highlights. I like what I saw in Jake. Jake, to me, has always been an awesome power puncher. People don't like to give him credit for boxing, but he is a power puncher. He can knock anybody out there. He can hit clean. The effort, but I think he waited too long. People better take Jake serious because Jake is serious.
Roy Jones Jr. acknowledged the confidence Jake brought into the ring, but highlighted how Joshua's experience showed in subtle ways like spacing, timing, and knowing when to hold back. He described the fight as a lesson in fundamentals under pressure, where each round tested both composure and conditioning. Roy also noted how the measured pace revealed the fighter's strategy, with neither wasting energy since fatigue can change everything late in a bout. For him, the real takeaway wasn't the hype or headlines, but how the ring exposed each fighter's habits, patience, and respect for the demands of heavyweight boxing when skill meets expectation.
It's dangerous when you go in there, no matter who it is, it's dangerous anyway. So, I mean, it could be dangerous for anybody, including him. But if he gets himself in the right shape and continues on the path he's on, I think he'll do all right.
I'm going to try and put you on the spot here. You have to answer in a yes or no. Will Jake Paul become a world champion?
No.
Why?
I think if they make him fight tough opponents, guys with experience, those guys will beat him. Now, if he gets somebody like myself at the end of their career, or somebody like Tyson, he caught at the end of their career, the chances are much higher.
Building on Roy Jones Jr.'s technical breakdown, Tony Bellew offered a more emotional, fighter-focused reaction. He said the fight felt tense from the very first bell, not due to recklessness, but because both men clearly understood the weight of every exchange. Bellew highlighted the early respect shown, noting how neither fighter rushed, aware that a single mistake at heavyweight could change the entire fight. He also pointed out the physical grind, explaining how clinches, positioning, and body work quietly accumulated over the rounds, even when nothing dramatic was happening in plain view.
Of course I'm shocked. I got it completely wrong. I thought it would end within 4 rounds, and it didn't. Well, it did. For AJ, it was over in the first when that right hand landed. One guy comes out and lets his hands go immediately. Josh starts and he's fencing and he's trying to box and set it up. It was the wrong approach, and he'll know. I hope he walks in the post-fight press conference and says tonight, made a mistake, I want a rematch straight away, and he jumps on him. Because Anthony Joshua, when he's letting his hands go, is the most destructive heavyweight.
Tony Bellew praised Jake for standing his ground and staying composed under pressure, while also highlighting how Joshua's experience showed through in his control of space and ability to reset when needed. He described the bout as a true test of nerve and conditioning, where heart mattered just as much as skill. Bellew emphasized that heavyweight boxing isn't only about power, it's about surviving stress, fatigue, and expectation all at once. For him, the biggest takeaway wasn't about flashy moments, but how both fighters maintained discipline in a fight designed to test composure.
He didn't let his hands go quick enough, and that's just the game with him.
Can he come back from it?
Of course he can. Well, like I've just said to you, he's still one of the most destructive heavyweights in the world. It's just tonight, he's had a guy just set about him straight away. I'm not taking anything away from the world champion. I give him all the praise and all the credit in the world, take nothing away from him. Anthony Joshua is back on the rebuilding road. Do I think he can come back? I don't think I know he can. All the best. As you can see tonight, I have got the wife, and she is going to...
Frank Warren gave a business-minded take on the fight, noting that it unfolded exactly like a high-stakes heavyweight bout should. Measured early, tense throughout, with both men aware that a single lapse could change everything. He highlighted how the pace told the story, with neither fighter forcing moments and instead letting pressure build naturally, round by round. Warren acknowledged Jake's composure, pointing out that he stayed disciplined and didn't look overwhelmed, while also emphasizing Joshua's experience in controlling distance, tempo, and positioning whenever exchanges intensified.
What did you make of what AJ just produced?
You just said what it was, a devastating performance. You know, I always felt whoever landed the first punch and the hurtful punch would win the fight, and that's how it turned out. Well, for how long the first round, before he got clipped, he was shaping up all right, but then he pulled that beautiful shot out and caught him with it. And, he just never got over it.
People obviously try and draw comparisons to the Fury performance, but aside from that, What does that send out in terms of the rest of the heavyweight division? What does that message send out now from AJ?
Well, he's had two superb wins, hasn't he, his last 2 fights? So he's firmly re-established himself, and there's some really good fights to be made there.
Warren emphasized that heavyweight fights aren't just about flashy moments. They're about control, survival, and staying mentally sharp as fatigue sets in. He noted that bouts like this can blur the line between spectacle and legitimacy, but once the bell rings, reputations don't matter, preparation does. In his usual straightforward style, he summed it up. The ring doesn't lie. No matter a fighter's background or the story built around them, what truly counts is how they handle real pressure, with patience, toughness, and focus all at once.
He was brilliant, he boxed the plan, he'd done everything that I believed he was capable of doing. He boxed behind a superb jab, and that was the key to winning the fight, the jab.
He started fast. A lot of people said if he was to be successful, he had to kind of hurt Anthony Joshua early.
A lot of people said he was going to get beat.
Yeah. When you did drop him in that first round, did you feel like the writing was on the wall somewhat?
I knew he could hurt him, but then again I knew that AJ could hurt, and he's got a fabulous jab. I mean, an unbelievable jab, and he's got power in both hands, and he's fast, he's got speed. And I said that all the way through from the beginning. You know, when we were talking about it, all this.
When you put it all together, the tension in the ring, the discipline both fighters showed, and the way everyone from promoters to legends read the same story, it's clear this fight was more than just a single night. It wasn't about shortcuts or shock value. It was about pressure meeting preparation, belief facing experience, and heavyweight boxing showing that the ring is still the ultimate truth teller. From the opening bell to the final exchanges, this bout forced the sport to confront evolution, respect, and what really holds up under the brightest lights. One thing's undeniable. This fight demanded focus, nerve, and composure from everyone involved, and it gave boxing a moment people won't stop talking about anytime soon. Now, I want to hear from you, did this fight change how you see crossover bouts? Or did it just reinforce what you already believed about heavyweight boxing? Drop your takes, debates, and wild opinions in the comments. And don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to Boxing Headquarters. See you in the next one.